We just came back from Turkey where we visited Istanbul and Cappadocia in 7 days. So in this video we're gonna break down the perfect week itinerary for your visit to Turkey.
We are going to share the activities and areas to visit each day. We are going to tell you the best places to stay at and even give you some food recommendations so that you can make the most of your trip. Let's get started.
Day 1, you're gonna be arriving at Istanbul, most likely via air. And Istanbul has two main airports. The one in the European side, which is most likely where you're gonna arrive, and I don't know how to say it, but I'll put the name right here.
Top tip, pre-book a transfer from the airport to Istanbul center because the taxis in Istanbul are complete chaos. You're most likely going to get scammed if you get a normal taxi.
Well, it's not scam, but we've experienced it many times. They will ask you for way more money than the taximeter says or what the Uber app says.
If you want to avoid that hassle, pre-booking, it just means someone's waiting for you, you've already prepaid and they take you straight to your hotel. Now, there's two main areas where we recommend that you stay in Istanbul. One of them is the Galata area, which we found it to be the most beautiful area in Istanbul. But it's a little bit far from some of the main touristic areas, so that's why we recommend to stay in the Sultanahmet area, because that's near the Blue Mosque and a lot of key spots that we're gonna mention that you're going to visit in the next couple of days.
And there are so many restaurants, takeaway spots, international food chains. Pick your favorite.
We stayed in a very small hotel in the heart of Sultanahmet, but it was affordable and it was very well located, so we do recommend it.
We will leave the link in the description. You can find it and get the best price for it on planning.com.
If you've never heard of planning.com, it's a hotel booking platform where you can find recommendations from travel creators like us and get up to 40% discount on hotels worldwide.
So you're not reading reviews from random people, you're reading them from pre-approved travelers just like us.
And Planning is powered with the hotel inventory of booking.com, so you can be sure that there's plenty of choice to find something that you like.
So make sure to create an account to access member exclusive discounts and start browsing, start finding the best hotels, booking them and enjoying amazing prices for your upcoming travels.
Day 2, this is going to be your first day exploring Istanbul, and you're going to start in the heart of Sultanahmet. This is where a lot of the landmarks are located, like the Blue Mosque.
I absolutely love the Blue Mosque. It's iconic and it's free as well, so you get to go in. Just a word of caution, make sure you take if you're a woman, you take a headscarf and you dress appropriately, of course, because you are able to enter the exact area where you can see people praying, and it's really a good experience.
Next to the Blue Mosque, you're going to visit the Hippodrome, a landmark full of history, and also very nearby you have the Hagia Sophia Mosque and the Basilica Cistern, which are also places that a lot of tourists visit, but they are a little bit pricey to enter.
So we didn't actually go inside. As you will see, the queue for the Hagia Sophia is insanely large. It will cost you at least 25 euros per person to go in. And the Basilica Cistern is a little bit more interesting because it's underground. If you're into seeing old structures, learning a lot about the history, this could be an interesting thing to explore.
And by the way, this whole day itinerary that we're talking about, we made a vlog about it when we did it, so you can go check it out. You can learn more about the history of these landmarks and you can see why we decided to visit some places and not others. But of course you have time, so you can go to all of them if that's what you want.
After exploring these areas, we recommend you to find yourself a place to eat an iconic kebab. That's what we did and we don't regret, so we recommend you to do it too. But in the afternoon, what you will want to explore is the Grand Bazaar and later the Egyptian Bazaar.
This whole area between the two bazaars is a shopping street. Go with empty space in the luggage because you're definitely gonna leave with something. But after an exhausting afternoon of shopping, you will definitely want to find a rooftop cafe to watch the sunset from, because this city has stunning views and we recommend going to this area specifically because we went to one of the rooftops there and it was really awesome.
Day 3. The first thing we recommend you to do after you have your breakfast is to head down to Eminönü Square, because from here you're going to be able to take a boat tour to see the Bosphorus Strait. It cost us 5 euros per person and it took between an hour and a half and 2 hours, and I completely recommend everyone to do it.
Because with this itinerary you don't have so much time in the city, this is a great way to see it in just a couple hours because it does take you all the way, I don't know if it's the end of the strait, but very far into the strait, so you do see further away areas that you probably otherwise wouldn't have time to visit.
After you come back from the tour, we recommend you to cross the bridge into the northern area. I think it's the northern, no?
Yeah.
It feels like the northern area of Istanbul, which is the Galata area.
We recommend that you go and try some traditional Turkish soup. We went to this specific soup shop that's all they sell, and it was so awesome because you get to choose different soups and they are traditional and very, very tasty.
Of course, there's many other options. In that street there's a bunch of restaurants, so you can really decide to eat whatever it is that you want to eat. However, right after, we stopped at a place where we tried some local, gorgeously delicious baklava and some Turkish coffee, and that's something you can also do in a lot of places, but make sure to sit down for a baklava and a Turkish coffee.
Right after this, you'll want to walk all the way up to see the Galata Tower, one of the most iconic monuments in the whole of Istanbul. And also we didn't go inside of it, but the views from outside are also gorgeous.
Yeah, it's obviously pricey and there's a big queue to be able to go to the tower, but I feel like the best views of the Galata Tower are from outside of it, not from within it. But we really like the area in general.
And if you want to take a really cool photo, make sure to go to this street. I will leave it right here because it has an amazing view of the Galata Tower.
Right after you get to see the Galata Tower, we recommend you to keep going up north or keep going upwards and you'll find yourself in the commercial street.
Here there's a bunch of cafes, restaurants, and it's just a really nice walk. There's shops, but we didn't stop at any. But it's a great way to spend your afternoon, and there is a beautiful red tram that reminded us so much of Lisbon, so it's a gorgeous area.
After you explore the commercial street, you will want to walk all the way down to the riverside. Here you are going to cross the bridge, but a different one. It's called the Halik Bridge, and from this one you can see the whole city, so the views are gorgeous. But of course you'll end up close to Eminönü Square, and from here you can decide on a spot to watch the sunset, or you can listen to the vibrant city in the background with the mosques going off, or just find a place to have dinner.
On day 4, you are finally traveling to Cappadocia. So, you're most likely going to fly from the other airport in Istanbul. This one is called Sabiha Gökçen Airport, I think, and it's on the Asian side. So, you need to make sure that you plan ahead because there can be a lot of traffic to get to and from the airport.
It took us over an hour to get there, and on the way back it actually took us over 2 hours. So
Yeah.
just be aware that there's a lot of traffic in Istanbul. But once you get to the airport, you will take a flight to Nevşehir Airport, and that is in beautiful Cappadocia.
When you've reached Cappadocia, again, you should have a pre-booked transfer because there will just be someone waiting for you. It's a very small airport. I don't even recall seeing taxis there. And there was a guy waiting for us. We got on a van and then it took us all the way to our hotel.
We recommend you to pick Göreme as the place to stay in Cappadocia. Why? This is the main town, it's where the activities are happening, it's where you see these chimney-like structures as well, so make sure to stay there. Once you get to Göreme from the airport, it'll most likely be evening. So, settle in, go to the town, grab some dinner, and find a place to book a tour for the day after.
This brings me to day 5, which is going to be your first morning in Cappadocia, and naturally you're going to want to watch the sunrise with the amazing hot air balloons. We were super lucky because we booked a hotel that had an amazing rooftop with incredible views for sunrise, so we were able to wake up at 6 a.m. and see the balloons right there.
And if you're interested in booking this hotel, again, link in the description via planning, we completely recommend. Now, if you are not staying in a hotel that has views, then you're gonna have to go to a viewpoint in specific, so you're gonna have to wake up 30 minutes before sunrise, do the trek up, and just be aware that there's gonna be a lot of people around you, so you might not be able to get the picture perfect shot, but hey, those are the 2 options.
After watching the sunrise, you'll have some breakfast and you'll most likely get picked up by the tour that you have booked the day before. Now, there's a few tours that you can book in Cappadocia, but there's 2 that are the most famous ones, the red tour and the green tour.
We did the green tour because it's what allows you to see the most amount of things in terms of diversity. So you get to see different places with views into the chimney-like structures, you get to learn about the history, but you also get to go to one really cool thing, which is the underground caves.
Underground city.
Underground city, which are essentially caves built up to 8 floors underground where people used to live back in the day.
We highly recommend to do this tour. We did a full vlog of it as well, so we will leave the link in the description so you go check it out and decide if that's a tour that you want to do. While we were in Cappadocia, obviously we had to have dinner, and we saw that there was a lot of touristic places, but we specifically really enjoyed these 2 restaurants, and we will leave the names right here because they had traditional food, it was well priced, the service was good, and we had a good experience.
And the food was just flat out delicious.
That's
it. The food is great. What can I say? Yes, we recommend it. Day 6, you will wake up in Cappadocia one more time to watch the sunrise. We really recommend you to watch the sunrise both days, and that's because you never know when you're gonna get a really good, amazing Cappadocia sunrise. It depends on where the balloons are coming from, it depends on how strong the wind is, it just depends on so many factors. So on day 1 we had an amazing view of the sunrise, on day 2 it wasn't as impressive.
Of course, you can also decide to get on the balloon either on day 6 or on day 5, but we didn't do this experience because it's quite pricey and it's just not for us. But if you want to, that option is there for you. You might have a little bit of free time before you have to travel back to Istanbul, and if that's the case, there's lots of things to do and see in Göreme town, so we recommend to do that, and then of course get your transfer back to the airport and fly to Istanbul. You could do 2 things. You could fly back to Istanbul and then straight to your home country, or you could stay the night in Istanbul and travel the next day.
We did the second, so we got back to Istanbul, it was a relaxed evening, we got some dinner, and in day 7 we had a little bit of time to explore a little bit more of Istanbul, just walking around the city, enjoying the country in general, and then later in the evening we took a flight out.
The problem with doing option 1 is that you could get stuck in traffic and not make it to your second flight, or your first flight could be delayed, so it is a little bit risky, and that's why we decided to do the other one. Keep in mind the airports are like in complete opposite sides of the city, so you do have to travel through the center. That's why you might as well just be there and enjoy it.
Sadly, our trip to Turkey came to an end, and if you're traveling there for 7 days, yours will too.
Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, make sure to leave the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and subscribe to our channel because we have so much more travel content and itineraries coming up. All the links to the places that we have mentioned will be linked in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in our next video.